Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 86 of the Not Joanna Eggs podcast. This week, Robbie and I are reviewing the 1973 Hanna Barbera animated film Charlotte's Web. We had a lot of fun checking this one out, and I keep forgetting how great the songs are and how awesome Templeton is, and we miss Paul Lynde very much. So, hope you guys enjoy this one, and thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye.
You buy it! Hello, welcome to another episode of Not Joanna Eggs. I'm Robbie.
And I'm Tracy.
And this week we are reviewing the 1972 Hanna Barbera animated Charlotte's Web. I, 150%, despite having watched this numerous times as a kid, forgot a Hanna Barbera cartoon. And then as soon as the characters started appearing, I was like, oh, there it is. That's a very classic Hanna Barbera farmer guy.
One of the other directors of the film, there were two of them. I forget who the other guy was because I didn't find him that interesting.
Sure.
But the second dude, his name is Iwao Takamoto, and he is one of like the best known character animators, like designers from Hanna Barbera. Because like he designed Scooby-Doo, he designed Astro from the Jetsons, and he also designed Penelope Pitstop from Wacky Races.
Mother of dog.
I know, right? Because like he was really passionate about wanting to make this, and I'm like, that's dope. I
do appreciate that. So if you are somehow not familiar with Charlotte's Web, I am asking as a legitimate question, what did you read in grade school? Because I read this in grade school and cannot imagine what else you might read that does the same thing.
That, or if they didn't go to an American elementary school, whatever, because like that's understandable. I'm sure there are other, there's other books that they probably would have read too. But this one specifically for American elementary schools is like pretty much required reading from what I remember.
It's like the Of Mice and Men of grade school.
Yeah, pretty much. Are arguably roughly the same messages. Roughly the same story.
I think there are very similar messages, yes.
Not quite the same. Curly does not kill a woman. Like Templeton does not end up killing a woman by how much they end up petting a woman's hair.
Nor does he unintentionally make himself explode, despite Tracy's inflation fetish.
It's not a fetish, Robbie. It's a thing I notice. I don't get sexual gratification out of it. I'm sick and tired of all of the slander that you keep perpetuating in my name, Robbie. Thanks a lot. The worst.
Oh my
Dead
Lord.
to me.
Oh, God.
Dead to me.
Done professionally. All right.
We are done professionally. I don't have an inflation fetish. Stop telling people that.
I've told so many people about Tracy's non-existent.
Why? Who will believe you?
No one will ever believe you.
Though, funny you mention that. There is an inflation fetish image in this with Templeton that we will get to when it happens, because it was in my notes.
God Christ, I know. You were texting me watching it.
Of course it was in my notes.
Of course it is, because you have an inflation fetish. It's okay, Tracy.
It's not a fetish. I just noticed that they do it. We can't make it more than 4 minutes into the goddamn episode without you dragging me across the coals for a non-existent fetish I don't have. Anyway, so this movie was based on a children's book.
Written, or published in 1956, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Or was it 52? I don't remember. Sometime in the 50s.
It's like 50s. I'm pretty sure it was like 56, but
yeah, it was written by E.B. White, who is a acclaimed like a less grumpy version of Roald Dahl. I heard that actually. But I heard that the prose, like the way that he actually structured writing it, was supposed to be symbolic of like if someone was on a swing. Like the overall like rhythm and tone of it.
Yeah, so there's a passage that's pretty famously known, which is the tire swing passage, and the way that it's written is a good demonstration of the concept of rhythm in writing, because it's meant to be sort of back and forth in the same way that a tire swing is. So do we want to get into the very loose plot of this thing?
Yeah, and I also want to mention that this is a musical, in case if you've never seen this.
It is! I forgot!
And the funny thing is that the people that made the songs for it, the Sherman Brothers, they also did the songs for Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. If the fact that they're kind of catchy sort of makes sense, because they made those too. Like, and some of them tonally make make, like they kind of sound similar
Yeah.
to like some songs in Mary Poppins, like Feed the Birds kind of sounds like Mother Earth and Father Time to me.
Yeah, and I remember rewatching it. I had forgotten until the goose sings it, but Smorgasbord.
Oh my God, it's like the best song.
It's so fucking catchy.
Yeah.
It was just a thing when I was a kid, right?
Oh, yeah. I got it in my head, too. But yeah, let's do the plot really quick.
Yeah, let's do the plot, and I'll tell this story later.
If by any chance you don't know what Charlotte's Web is about, which, fair, it's very easy to break down. So,
yeah, it is, actually.
Do you want to go for it, or should I do it? I don't care.
I'll give you the shortest version, which is the runt of a litter is going to be killed. The daughter of the farmer saves the pig, keeps it as a pet, and then they give it away to her uncle. And in order to avoid being slaughtered, a spider begins weaving messages of how great this pig is to save his life. And eventually he becomes a unnamed state famous pig.
Basically an influencer, really. Let's be honest.
Like a pre-social media influencer. Like Marnie the dog, but a pig, and in 1972.
There was one particular thing that I noticed, which was during kind of like a montage. I guess that there's an actual date within this movie, so we can tell roughly what time frame it's in.
Oh shit, I missed that.
1935. Yeah.
Oh my lord. Okay, so we're
so
Great Depression era pig.
Yeah, I mean, like, hence, like, I can see why they would be so jazzed. They're like, oh, thank God, something positive to look forward to.
Holy shit. Money coming into our state government? What is going on?
We inexplicably don't live in the Dust Bowl. Everyone's happy and there's enough food.
Hooray.
What's happening?
No wonder they wanted to kill that pig so much.
Yeah, exactly, because it's the 30s and they're hungry. So there's a montage that happens when the first message is written in Charlotte's Web, like the title character Charlotte writes it in there. Mm-hmm. When there's a montage of a bunch of different like news clippings and magazines and periodicals and stuff, there it zooms in on this like very like well illustrated / painted image of Wilbur, the main character, and there's a date up in the top of it that says June 1935. Because like I saw it, I was like, wait, what does that say? And then luckily they zoomed in. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. We actually have a date for this. So
good catch.
Yeah, I don't know. I only noticed it the second time rewatching it.
So if you don't know, or if you haven't figured out, Charlotte is the spider who writes the messages, who ends up serving as sort of a like.
She's a life coach. Let's just call her what it is.
She kind of is a life coach, right? And like I really enjoyed like rewatching this movie. It was interesting to revisit it because one, I don't remember just how intense Wilbur's thanatophobia is. Like,
yeah, holy shit, he's like every single sentence is just like, I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. I want to live, Clarence. I want to live.
There was one particular quote that if I can find the clip of it, I would like to put it up on Twitter. That was like Wilbur going, I don't want to die. I want to stay here in my warm manure pile. And then I would tag it as like everyone on Twitter.
Yes. One thing that was wild to me knowing now as an adult is that Debbie Reynolds voices Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The best.
And yeah, so good. But my favorite line easily because of the way she sells it is just, I don't really eat them. I drink their blood. I love blood.
I love that too. I was like, she's so excited to drink that blood.
It's
I'm like,
so
yes,
funny.
Charlotte.
Also,
and then Wilbur tries to shame her, and she's like, "Hey, fuck you! You eat out of a trough."
Yeah, hey, fuck off! I need to eat too, pig.
She's like, "Don't you dare sit there and judge me, you pig!" I like that they give Charlotte like a backbone. She's like, "I don't like your hysterics. You need to calm the fuck down. I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to help you not get murdered, but stop complaining. Otherwise, I will kill you myself."
Do not think I will not murder you, Wilbur, because I will.
So I'll do it. I'm tiny enough. They'll never find me.
Who
will believe you?
Your life, and I have the power to take it away.
Suddenly she's Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
She's got the legs for it.
So I remember that because I always thought that spiders drink blood. They do not actually drink blood. They essentially, most spiders liquefy their food and then suck it up like a straw.
So they're in a juicing phase right now.
They are always in a juicing phase.
That's why they're so thin.
So anywho, other prominent characters are the goose who teaches Wilbur to talk.
Yeah, I was like, let's calm down. But also, and this is one thing that I remember they used to replay this on, I think, Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. Like, this was on TV all the time back in the day. And I guess that this is one of the best-selling video cassettes for, like, children ever at the time that it came out, which was, like, 94. Like, we're talking...
That tracks to me.
No, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not shocking. It's just, like, I was not expecting that because this is outside of, like, Disney, which is like it being that like selling that well is like, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Remember, it came out in the 70s, so it's Hanna Barbera, like,
yeah, true.
sort of back when they were like big, and like, again, Charlotte's Web is like required reading a lot of times, so like, and the movie, you know.
Oh god, we totally watched this in class too. I'm sure you guys probably did as well.
I'm sure that
like,
we
where
did.
You did like a unit on it, and then it's like, it's the day before spring break. We're gonna watch Charlotte's Web.
So when I remember it, there's like I think I've talked about this before, but there's like a large number of movies from our childhood that I've watched bits and pieces of, like 45 minutes here and there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I was in after school care in grade school, and so for like during the warm months, we would be forced to play outside for about an hour after classes ended.
For a second, I thought you said the war months, like WAR, like,
yeah.
Well, during the summer, they put us into boot camp, trained us, and then I had my first kill at the ripe old age of 7.
Boy, howdy. Those Lutheran schools, they do treat you harsh. Anywho.
Capital punishment with a capital P.
Yep. Stands for penis.
Oh. Ew. You're gonna be punished with penis.
Oh no!
Oh no, I don't want to die.
We have made this so much worse than we could have imagined. Anywho,
and we're only 14 minutes in.
Yeah, we have barely started, guys. I am not sorry. I'm not.
I'm not shocked either. This is pretty far for the course.
I know. Well, we're like extra goofy right now, so who cares?
Yeah, it's true. I'm a little goofy. I'm having a beer, you know. I'm kicking back, just having a cool one with the boys, and by that I mean the dolls on my desk. Jigglypuff staring at me with her giant vacant eyes.
But so after we played outside for like the first hour or so of after school care, we would go inside and like watch a movie.
Yeah.
And so in the intervening like 45 minutes, I'd be able to sit and watch this movie, but then my mom came before it was over and I would have to go home.
Oh,
so
that sucks.
that's why I've only seen like chunks of like Little Mermaid and various other films from the early 90s because I did not own them, but we watched them.
But you never rented them from Family Video or the library or anything?
No.
Because like you were really close to the library, like from what I remember.
So my dad, when I was a kid, every weekend he would go to Lion Video and rent.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, he would rent a movie for him and a movie for me, and I would watch the movie for me, and then sometimes I would also watch the movie for him, which is why I saw Fight Club when I was like, I don't know, 12.
Aw.
Definitely should not have seen Fight Club at that age.
I don't think anyone should see Fight Club at any age, but that's just me. I'm cool. Actually, no. It was a gay romance to last the ages, or at least 10 years, and then we finally had another one. So
and then we had Brokeback Mountain.
There you go. And then we had Moonlight, I guess.
I really need to watch Moonlight. I've heard it's very good.
I've heard it's good too. It's on Netflix. Anyway, no, it's on Prime. Anyway.
Fuck yeah. Okay, back to Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, there was actually I had one point I wanted to bring up, and I also want to have some dead air here for a second. Okay. I love that. So there's this one character that's introduced that like the goose she's laying eggs for like probably about the first or like the first third of the movie. And one of her eggs is hatched, and I guess he's kind of the runt of her, like a gaggle of geese, of goslings. Yes. Ryan goslings. And his name is Jeffrey. And like he takes quite the shine to Wilbur, and he kind of just wants to be like him. Like he's kind of a Wilbur fanboy. Mm-hmm. And Wilbur nearly tells him like basically all about death and everything, like for the first day. Yeah. And he's alive. And I'm like, in a different universe, I would have loved to hear him say, I'm going to die any day now, Jeffrey, so don't get attached to me, because the memories that you have of me now will be ruined when you watch me die.
And believe me, they will kill me in front of you.
It's going to be messy. He will need to have one of those, the garbage bags, to like cover him up from the blood. It will be gross.
Just in that version of it, as Wilbur's head is getting chopped off, he just looks directly at Jeffrey and says,
Jeffrey!
Not even. He just looks at him and says, don't look away, Jeffrey.
You want to be a man, don't you?
You must watch
this pig
this.
Get murdered.
Oh, God.
Ugh. Yeah, I know. I maybe like if this was like a cross between Babe and Animal Farm, that could have happened, but it's not.
I'm thinking like a cross between like Babe and a little bit of Game of Thrones, but
does
less.
Does that make the sheep the mountain?
God damn it!
Wait, then Jeffrey is Grey Worm. I love that. We have to stick with this.
How is Jeffrey Grey Worm?
I don't know. I just like that he follows Wilbur around like Daenerys.
I do enjoy that he just kind of files Wilbur around, and like instead of honking like a normal goose, he tries to oink like a pig. And so he makes a weird...
Cute.
It's cute. Other fun characters are the Ram, who I don't think even has a name. He's just kind of this, like, self-important, slightly pompous jerk.
You know, honestly, he reminded me a lot of Sarah's dad from The Land Before Time, because he does the same kind of thing of, like, he's kind of elitist about being near his own species.
Yeah,
he tells his son to, like, well, number one, you can't get out of your pen, and number two, sheep don't play with pigs, whatever. Like, it's just like, there's kind of really no reason to it. Like, he's just kind of like the Helen Lovejoy of that.
Yeah,
of the
he definitely
barnyard.
kind of is. It also fits because he's gray colored as opposed to like white or something.
Exactly.
And then you've got Templeton the rat.
God, the best. Like, everything
by
about him, he steals the entire show. It's
Paul
fantastic.
Lynde?
Yes, Paul Lynde, who, if you've ever seen American Dad, the voice that was the inspiration for the character Roger, the alien that lives with them, is Paul Lynde.
Well, and he's the uncle in Bewitched, which is how I recognized him.
Yeah, that too. I mean, same deal. Very notoriously flamboyant as hell, super gay, campy as fuck.
Very high-voiced. You know, Templeton do this, Templeton do that. What am I getting out of this? Templeton, you are such a fat fucking rat because you've helped this pig. You shut your stupid little mouth.
Do you have any more eggs I can steal?
What's wrong with that one? It's a dud. Be careful with it. I know what I'm doing.
I know what to do with a rotten egg. It's a stink bomb. Like, just everything
so
about him. He's so campy, but he's easily like my favorite character just because he's such a mess.
He really is. I kind of love him.
Yeah, he's great.
And then, of course, there's Fern Arable, who is the young lady who saves Wilbur's life.
Yeah, basically, like, treats him kind of like a baby. But, like, granted, if I had a mini pig like Wilbur, I'd be all about that, too. Like, putting him in little hats, making him wear little booties and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, eventually she, you know, like, but she's also, like, probably, I would say, like, 11 or 12 or something. And you see her kind of mature just like Wilbur does, too. So I think they're kind of supposed to be parallel characters to each other, but just in different ways. That Wilbur learns to accept death and learns that, like, it's another part of a cycle of living and everything. And Fern kind of matures out of taking care of Wilbur and then being more interested in a character named Henry Fussy, who I'm like, dude, that sucks that you have that last name. You can't really do anything about it.
Hey, wait. Now, in my defense, one thing I learned from this movie is if you smash a nerd's violin, he gets hot.
And also, you have to take off his glasses. It's a very she's all that.
It like, very much is. It's like a she's all that makeover. God damn it.
And the weird part is that his mom looks like a grandma. Like, she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm just be like, either how old was she when she conceived him, or is he adopted? Because I don't know. Something's going on there. Because she looks like she's 90.
She does. She looks very old.
And she's extremely crotchety and does not like animals.
Yes.
And is always shooing things. She's probably shooed Fern at one point, too. I wouldn't put it against her.
I didn't realize, I forgot about this note I wrote, which is so when they get the second word, or the second banner, whatever it is.
Yeah, the first one is some pig, and then the next one is terrific. And I'm just like, if you say some pig with, like, the wrong, like, phrasing, just be like, some pig? ?
Yes. Good.
I was like, everyone just knew to say he's some pig.
Some pig.
But I guess if it's 1935, any good news, like, any, like, slow news day thing about, like, oh, look at this amazing pig. And I'm like, wait.
Listen, man, this is a hell of a pig.
I mean, do you remember the line that, like, basically the farmer's wife, so, like, Wilbur is sold out to Fern's uncle, and there's a line that is completely accurate that is the farmer's wife, her name is Edith, she says, like, she basically says that, like, no, I think you're wrong, it's the, like, we don't have a very special pig, it's a spider, and then they totally gaslight her.
I love the shit out of that line, like, it was very much the joke we were making about Peter Parker, where it's like, no, woman, shut up. It's obviously the pig. It's not the spider that's amazing. It's that the spider is inspired to be amazing by this fantastic fucking pig. God, Edith, why do you talk? Like,
That's what I had in my notes. It was like, no, shut up, Edith. It's clearly the pig that made that spider
I also made that
and
note.
wrote it in.
I love it so fucking much.
And then Edith, she doesn't even protest, so clearly this kind of thing has happened a lot, and she's just kind of used to being lied to by him. She drops it entirely and knows that she can't win and that she's in the wrong era, so she lets it go and plots to divorce him. Like, that's it.
It sucks.
It's gonna suck. She needs to get out of that marriage. That's all I'm gonna tell you. He's like, I gotta get into Edith. That buttermilk bath made him look better. And he's like, okay, so you'll give me credit when I'm actually right, but you'll gaslight me when you know that it's going to threaten your business.
Yep. But
and everyone just like, whenever the people show up, they're just all about like, yep, that's one hell of a pig, all right. And it's
that's
like,
a good pig.
Clearly the spider made it. Like, I don't get it. I thought that I was like going crazy or something.
No, it was so fun. I just to again project an alternate universe in which like
yes. Oh my God, yes.
All right,
I got another one too, and you're done.
So it's this. It's that the wife, Edith, becomes the nosy neighbor in Bewitched, where she's just constantly trying to prove that, no, you morons, it's the fucking spider. I saw her spin it. You're morons. It was the spider the whole time.
And they're like, burn her.
Burn her at the stake. She's a witch. She has moving pictures.
I told you the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Burn her.
Oh, but I think one of my notes that really tickled me is when I think it's after the second word, there's another pig, there's another miracle at Zuckerman's. And the way they say it is just like, another miracle? Are you kidding me?
Again?
How many miracles has this pig got to perform, Zuckerman?
This isn't a miracle. This is a pattern of behavior. Why don't people see the spider up in the right-hand corner of the picture? Like, it's just, I don't...
It's just so funny.
I don't know, man. Look, I'm glad that they've got just, like, fluff news. It's fine. But at the same time, it's just, like, I also don't want to be aggrandizing a pig that's not doing anything. I feel like that's going to give it a false, inflated sense of self. And I don't think that that's a good thing to do to your farm animals, personally. I don't know.
Yep.
Call me old-fashioned.
Call me an old-fashioned, but I taste delicious.
Ooh, I would love an old-fashioned right now. I noticed that for some reason, all of their breakfast food is pancakes. Like, they just really like pancakes within this universe.
All right, listen, in fairness, we know it's Hanna Barbera. That was probably just a decision of, what's the cheapest, easiest thing we can draw for breakfast? Everyone eats pancakes! Pancakes, pancakes, and more pancakes!
We are chock-a-block of carbs, and look at us.
It's
we're the most robust section of America.
All right, I'm gonna make a deep crossover cut, which is it's the world that Kiki fears when she makes the joke about eating nothing but pancakes in
Kiki's
delivery service.
Oh,
poor Kiki. She's
not even
good for her.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's the millennial art student that we all want to be.
She's kind of that. Ursula is 1,000% that.
I do want to mention something, like, since so Robbie and I, we saw Kiki's delivery service, like, what was it, like a week ago, week and a half-ish, I forget.
Yeah, like a week and a half at this point.
Yeah, so we saw it like roughly a week and a half ago, and Robbie had mentioned one thing to me that made me so angry during the film, and that was basically that I guess, and so if you're familiar with the My Brother and Me podcast, if you haven't listened to it, you should. It's very funny. I love the show.
It was a joke so Griffin McElroy hosts from My Brother and Me, also hosts a podcast with his wife, and so someone in that Facebook group posted a picture of Tombo and Kiki and said, I'm watching a movie that I assume is the origin of Griffin and Rachel getting married. Yeah,
and basically the instant that Robbie told me that, I was like, why would you ruin this fucking movie for me, Robbie? Because now it's like every time I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's just fucking Griffin McElroy. I hate you so much. Why would you say that to me?
I'm part car, part boy car, the king of Philadelphia.
He's like, Jason, quit fucking around back there. Sorry, Cindy.
It's so good.
It's so great.
Oh my god.
Anyhow, let's talk about more of this movie. I love that, like, in the Templeton's entire thing, like, so eventually Wilbur, like, there's enough things written in there that they're like, I'm gonna take this exceptional pig to the county fair or whatever the fuck it is.
Yep.
And Templeton decides to end up going with them because the goose sings this fantastic song that we briefly mentioned earlier, called the Smorgasbord Song, which is that Templeton is convinced to go to the fair with Charlotte and Wilbur in the crate because the goose tells him about all the litter that's going to be at the fair because of the poor sanitation in the 1930s. And I'm kind of surprised he didn't run into some hobos or someone else that was scrounging around trying to get stuff at that point.
Yeah, no, he just goes...
Times is tough.
He goes full trash man, eats so much garbage.
Oh, it's great.
Also, like, on the note of Templeton, I need to point this out because it's one of my favorite things is...
Do it.
So after Terrific, they're looking for another word, and they tell Templeton
to go to the dump.
And look for, like, a magazine or something to bring them something. And he comes back and he goes, it says crunchy. And
oh my god, I love that so much. He's like, it says crunchy.
He's
so
satisfied with the find of crunchy as though that's not an awful idea.
Frankly, if it was the 90s, it could have worked because it's a very granola flavor. Like, a very granola thing that they could have said. Just be like, Wilbur, you're so crunchy. I love that you enjoy buying Birkenstocks and composting in your backyard. And then you eat it. You're the ultimate green human being, even though you're a pig. But, not like a capitalist pig, just a pig. But
I love Birkenstocks.
I thought it was funny, though, that, like, I guess Charlotte is kind of like one of the original proprietors of fake news, because there's one particular quote that I loved that was, trust me, Wilbur, people are very gullible. They'll believe anything they see in print.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, damn, Charlotte. Damn.
Holy shit, that was so fucking, like...
him to task.
I'm like,
I was
Jesus,
like, talk about being prophetic. And this is in the 70s.
Fuck out.
It's like, now Charlotte is very successful in the advertising industry.
She would be if only she weren't... Also, one thing, rewatching...
Spoilers, Robbie.
Because you didn't see it coming.
Go ahead. I mean, we're very goofy this episode.
We are. It's fine.
Oh, it's a good movie, though. I like it.
Yeah, it was a fun movie, honestly. Like,
yeah.
But so, one thing that I did not remember, and I actually appreciate on rewatching as an adult, is how, like, unflinching this movie is about death is the theme. Did you realize it's about accepting death? Mortality is coming. You will not find a way to escape death.
Yep. Everything is death. Everyone will leave you. Like,
in another, like, if it weren't a kid's book, this could easily be, like, a very nihilistic novel.
Yeah, it's like, it would be like Kafka's Web or something. Like,
Kafka's even Web!
The metamorphosis is Wilbur, but instead of being a pig, he turns to bones.
I mean, that...
not great. Actually, honestly, if it could even be Orwell's Web. It'd just be like, death, Big Brother, anything.
Yeah, wait, then it becomes a metaphor for the way in which Big Brother / the government is going to kill you.
Oh my god. What if it was like a monkey's paw thing where whatever was written in the web would end up happening? Like there would be some kind of like, there'd be something good, but then like someone would die.
This is a wholly different prophetic thing that I do love.
I really like this. Like we should probably write that treatment, right? Like we had to pitch it to a studio. Just be like, okay guys, sit down, enjoy your cucumber water. So we're about to start printing money with this idea. It's Charlotte's Web, but it's a monkey's paw rules. So as soon as something that says some pig is put up there, then someone dies. So in this case, it's Lurvy, meaning that they don't have another farmhand. All the work goes on to Edith and Mr. Zuckerman. And then the next one is Radiant, and then she is burned alive by the sun. So it's kind of also the story of Job.
You keep calling things the story of Job.
But in this case it is, because that pig is acting as God, making these things happen to him because of a dare from Templeton, who is the devil incarnate.
So it's Job with monkey paw spiderweb rules.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you ready to make this dream a reality?
I don't think I am, but I won't know until afterwards. So they go to the fair. Obviously, Wilbur does not win the first prize for Big Pig because Uncle next door is the size of a fucking barn.
Yeah. He basically could eat 2 Wilburs.
He could. But they gave him a special award, which is, like, personality. I don't remember what the fuck it is.
I would say like pig congeniality. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're just. It reminded me of that one scene in Gravity Falls where Dipper is having like a fantasy or something, or he's like, this dude that's interviewing him, he's like, I don't know why, but I feel compelled to give you a medal, and that's all I thought when I saw that scene.
Yes.
Like, there's really no precedent for it. They're just like, we saw your radiant pig, and we want to give you a medal and $25.
And
I'm
then
like,
Fern
damn.
breaks.
All right, sign me up. There's some hooch money right there.
Oh yeah.
Sign me up.
And then Fern busts onto the stage drunk. Why don't I get a medal? I saved the pig.
I saved the pig. I raised him from my bosom, and now look at him. He's completely ungrateful and entitled. I hate my pig son.
I hate my pig son.
I hate my dead pig son. I was also thinking of this one other thing that later, because there's a scene where Henry comes over to say hi to Fern just because he's been gone all summer. He was fishing or something. And I was like, they keep saying Zuckerman's famous pig. I'd be like, that would be like the meanest thing that a girl could say to another girl in high school. It'd just be like Fern Zuckerman, like, oh look, there goes Zuckerman's famous pig. Like, that'd be like an awful thing for a girl to say to another girl.
That'd be ruthless.
That'd be really mean, but also kind of funny, but also really mean.
Yeah, no.
And also, like, to show that you'd be like, man, I really hope that bullying girl, like, does nothing with her life and gets murdered.
Probably by her husband.
Probably both. Who knows?
Rough.
Sucks. Anyway. Yeah, no.
Anyway.
No. Let's talk about Templeton inflation porn to get off of that awful subject.
Damn it!
Or the balding Hitler guy that's in the barbershop quartet at the end of the movie, who looks a lot like Hitler if he had like a weird head, like missing most of the hair on the top of his head, because he's got like the Hitler mustache.
It was
and I understand it was 35.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's clearly
Hitler
an homage to Charlie Chaplin, not Hitler, because that was a popular facial hair.
That mustache because of Charlie Chaplin, because he loved Charlie Chaplin's movies.
Yes, Hitler literally ruined the Charlie Chaplin mustache. He literally did.
Anyway, back to Templeton inflation porn.
God, he's so bulbous, and he can't even walk. He is essentially swimming on the ground because his gut is so inflated. So he grabs with the front, pulls himself forward, and his little back legs are like kicking to move his stomach forward.
Oh boy, it's rough.
It is.
It's not a good time.
It is rough. And again, after being that so fucking fed, he's like, what do I get out of helping you? I don't know. Maybe the fact that you ate so much fucking food yesterday.
He's like, what more could you possibly want? You gorged yourself for 7 hours. He had a bacchanal of just eating stuff. It's just ridiculous. I don't know, but I still love him for that anyway. Just because seeing him move like an inchworm because his stomach is so big. But I'm just be like, you're really inviting a whole lot of fetish art right now. And I hope that you're proud of yourself, Hanna Barbera, if that is your real name. It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Charlotte does not leave the state fair. She is dying because it's fall.
Yeah.
And so she makes her egg sack. Templeton and Wilbur bring it back to the farm. The next spring, her 514 babies hatch.
Yep.
And
then they just yeet out of there.
Yeah, all but 3 of them just yeet onto the next planet. And those 3 stay and hang out with Wilbur, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. I think what are the names? Joy, Urania, and Nellie, I think is the
Nellie,
names of those.
Yeah, I think so. I just remember Nellie and Urania. The third one escapes me.
Yeah.
What
I like that Urania was the one you remembered and not Joy.
Because it's like Spider.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Anywho, 2 bits I liked at the end were Wilbur looks exceptionally distinguished as a year-old pig.
He really does. He's a big boy.
And Templeton even has a family, and he just kind of looks back at Wilbur, shrugs, and then cackles and leaves.
I'm not gay, Wilbur.
Who knew?
Oh well.
Gotta spread that hungry, hungry seed. Oh God, I regret that. I regret that so much.
Ew. I don't. Just terrible.
I hate you so much, Templeton.
I know. Oh boy. But yeah, like the overall it's very bittersweet. Like he does kind of have this weird like ode to Charlotte at the very end of it where he's like, "Well, once you learn how to write, could you please make this like 3-paragraph thing all about like it's basically a eulogy for Charlotte, which is admittedly very sweet. I did not cry at the end of this, like when Charlotte died and everything, but I thought it was very sweet, like the whole thing that Wilbur kind of had going on with her. Because as much as I kind of just disliked how whiny Wilbur could be at certain points, overall I liked their interactions and everything. Because Charlotte was very much the kick in the pants that Wilbur needed to get stuff done. And to like actually, you know, like assert himself and feel more confident around the farm.
Right. Well, and it's definitely, you know, like I think that not crying is like a perfectly reasonable response to this movie because it is so invested in trying to sort of normalize death as like it's just a thing that happens and like it can be sad, but that it should not stop you from doing things and it should also not like freeze you when someone important dies.
Yeah, like it shouldn't paralyze you from continuing to live your life and everything. And then he ends up finding, you know, happiness by interacting with Charlotte's children and her grandchildren and everyone else that's on the farm too.
So
and he's more secure, like he's not freaking out because Fern's not there anymore. Like he feels like he's more comfortable and he's as welcoming as the other farm animals are. So
he's like very like pretty well adjusted by the end of it.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a sweet message. I liked it a lot. And I really did like that it directly dealt with death. Because I think that that's a very difficult thing to really broach with children. Because, like, I mean, even as adults, we really don't know how to talk about it. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, because you don't really know what to say. And there's really nothing that you can really
there's
say
not
to make
a lot
them
you can say,
feel
but
better.
Like, you know.
But you can listen to them, you know, and, like, just be understanding and just try to counsel them through and just be supportive. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, and that's essentially what Wilbur does with Charlotte and vice versa. So it's overall good message. I think that honestly, a lot of the animation really does hold up, even though like it's obviously extremely of its time, but it still looks great.
It's very Hanna Barbera, but it also like looks pretty good.
Yeah, like there were a couple of cheat things, like some of the walk cycles that they have can be kind of silly.
There was definitely, I think they recycle animation after the words appear when they're doing the miracle thing or something. I definitely noticed some recycled animation. But
absolutely.
Who cares?
Like it's like they'll mirror it or they'll have it like be from farther away or something, all that. So even though E.B. White did not really like it that much, which is disappointing. Yeah, there's a quote here from him. It said, it looks like he was very displeased with the adaptation. He wrote something in a letter that said, "We have never ceased to regret that your version of Charlotte's Web never got made. The Hanna-Barbera version has never pleased either of us. A travesty." White himself wrote of the film, "The story is interrupted every few minutes so that somebody can sing a jolly song. I don't much care for jolly songs." The Blue Hill Fair, which I tried to report faithfully in the book, has become a Disney World with 76 trombones, but that's what you get for getting embroiled in Hollywood. It looks like he had previously turned down Disney when they offered to make it into a feature film, and I don't know. Oh god,
that's
weird.
Fucking funny.
According to the film's writer, Earl Hamner Jr., E.B. White's wife, who sometimes offered advice and suggestions, like she would offer notes and stuff, she said she would have preferred the music of Mozart in the film rather than the music of the Sherman Brothers.
What the
I don't know. I don't know if that's a diss or completely just like...
That's such a weird pull.
That feels really, really out of place, but okay.
Yeah, like, you know what would really make this moment sing is...
Mozart
right now. Yeah, Mozart.
I mean, and honestly, I could see kind of where they're coming with the whole thing with, like, the fair that's, like, Disney World and everything. Like, I get it, but if they're trying to make it kind of, like, jubilant and fun, like, that's very on brand for Hanna-Barbera. Like, the whole kind of, you know, they've got, like, dance party endings or, like, the barbershop quartet thing. Like, I still thought it was fun and fairly fitting for that time period, but I guess I could see, like, how they have issues, but... That's most adaptations. It's always like the author has some kind of problem with it.
It
like,
really does seem that way, doesn't it?
Well, because like Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, but it's a classic Hollywood horror movie by anyone's standards.
Yeah,
and then when they made the TV movie version, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, so I understand what Stephen King's bag is.
Yeah, I mean, like, Stanley Kubrick changed some stuff, and he did psychologically damage Shelley Duvall for life.
Yeah, well, and that's not...
And Scatman Crothers.
he does that sometimes.
Yeah, he's
Stanley
not.
Kubrick.
He's an objectively not a good dude.
No,
but he's
kind
of
of
like Quentin
shithead.
Tarantino in that like they make great movies, but they're kind of terrible people.
I don't know. I mean, I would
Quentin's
say
obnoxious, but I don't think he's malicious. Stanley Kubrick has kind of a weird sadistic streak going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, I think Quentin Tarantino is not as good of a director as he used to be. I think he's lost something.
That's fair. I mean, like, well, he's made like I think this is his ninth or last movie allegedly is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that just came out recently as of when we recorded this.
Probably see that, but maybe
I want to go see that too. I think I'm probably gonna go see it with Kent sometime next weekend. No, that's pretty much it. I would still recommend seeing it. Like some of the songs really do stick in my head.
Some of them are really fun. I really like Chin Up and obviously Smorgasbord.
I really also like Debbie Reynolds has a ballad that's all based all around like just the passage of time, which is called Mother Earth and Father Time. That one's great too. It's very atmospheric and very fun. Well, not fun. It's melancholy, but I like it. I like sad things. In case you didn't know.
If you didn't know this about Tracy somehow, now you do. I really like, or what tickled me is that like essentially a love song comes in the first 10 minutes and is devoted to a pig. Felt like I was watching some fucking Stephen Sondheim, y'all. I loved it.
It was nice. And I love that they, this is one of my favorite tropes / cliches where there's like two people that they're just like holding hands in like an open field or some kind of open area and they're twirling in a circle. Or there's like a rainbow or something behind them. They did it in this with Fern holding the pig. And it was so goofy. And it made me laugh because there's like this really like, there's like this super garish, like preschool rainbow in the background. It's fucking hilarious, but I loved it. It was so silly. I was like, I started giggling on the train. I was like, oh my God. But, you know, like at that point, she's just like, yes, finally. I would be lying if I said I haven't done that with my cat. And then she freaked out and then jumped out of my hands and sat on the couch and didn't talk to me or didn't acknowledge me for a little while. And yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you know, she was right to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's Charlotte's Web. Go give it a watch. We clearly had a good time.
Yeah, no, we enjoyed it, and also, I right now, or as of when we're talking about this, it's on Amazon Prime. So if you have that, go check it out. Realistically, you can probably find many clips of it on YouTube too.
Yeah,
I'm not
you can
sure
probably
if you can get it.
find
probably
it
not
easily.
in its entirety.
No,
it's probably on there somewhere.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Yes,
Tracy, where do they find you?
Thank you, Robbie. They can find me on Twitter and Instagram via @TCTroush. You can find our show website via notjoannaeggs.tumblr.com and also our YouTube, which is just search for Not Joanna Eggs. You'll find us. Just look for our logo. It's got our little two cartoony heads, my tongue sticking out. Robbie's looking cute. And I have not updated it recently just because things have been pretty bananagrams on my end. Now,
we've been. The last 2 weeks or so have been pretty nutty for us, so
much,
and it's only going to get worse.
Oh God, that sucks, but yeah, it's true. Yeah, and Robbie, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at @lobster_writer and on Instagram at @lobsterwriter.
Nice. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening, guys. We appreciate it. For another episode of the Not Joanna Eggs podcast.
Yeah. So if you guys did enjoy this podcast, please go ahead, subscribe, all these things. It really helps us out because we do not advertise this show so much. Although I will be on a thing in like a month or two.
Oh, nice.
Hear a promo for our show. So. But I didn't pay to be on that, so it's not paid advertising.
That's okay. It's an advertisement one way or another.
Yes. So, but spread the word, spread the love.
Yes, please. I mean, and honestly, we are on so many things. We're on Podbean, we're on Stitcher, we're on the iTunes Store. Like pretty much any podcatcher that you have. We're on the Spoofy.
We're pretty easy to find.
We're all over the place. You just gotta find us.
Yes.
It's like a scavenger hunt for your ears, but your hands do the work. So maybe this metaphor was poorly chosen. I don't know.
Maybe I didn't think about this metaphor enough.
It's not even a metaphor. It's just, no.
It's a simile.
No, I don't know.
All right, we're done.
I don't know, man. I was making pickles earlier. I don't know which way is up right now.
Everything's crazy right now. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk at you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks again so much for listening. Our intro music is Don't Hold My Breath by Ben Briggs. The outro is Wet Dreams by Phonetic Hero. Both were found on ocremix.org. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review us, or tell a friend to check us out. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Find the show website via notjoannaeggs.tumblr.com. Follow us on Twitter via @lobster_writer and @TCTrash. Not Joanna Eggs, because animation is for everybody.
3, 2,